For years now, the Golden State Warriors have straddled two developmental timelines. Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga have both fallen victim to the franchise's veteran depth at their positions, thus limiting their opportunities and development. When the Warriors traded for Jimmy Butler at the February 6th trade deadline, Mike Dunleavy Jr. chose the path forward. Golden State is building around a veteran trio with a sole focus of winning a championship. As such, Kuminga and Moody could both be considered disposable for the right price. According to Dan Favale of Bleacher Report, Moody enters the offseason as the most likely member of the Warriors roster to be traded. His contract, 3 years, $37.5 million, is eminently digestible for a 3-and-D wing, and if the playoffs are any indication, he still doesn't have the full trust of Warriors head coach Steve Kerr, Favale wrote. It isn't clear how much standalone value Moody will have if the Dubs shop him. But he's young and cheap enough for teams to envision evolution in a more prominent role, and Golden State has other assets to attach if the right target comes along. Moody enjoyed a strong season for Golden State this year. He played in a career-high 74 games, earning 34 starts. He also had a career-high in minutes, averaging 22.3 per game. However, Moody would be better served on a team that can put the ball in his hands more frequently. He needs the reps to start developing his game and reaching his potential. Warriors likely to re-sign Kuminga. Outside of Moody, Kuminga's future has been a hot topic this season. He's entering restricted free agency and is reportedly drawing interest from teams around the NBA. However, given the lack of cap space throughout the NBA, Jake Fisher believes the most likely outcome for Kuminga is that he will re-sign with the Warriors. It does seem, at this juncture, that the most likely outcome for the Warriors' restricted free agent swingman is a return to Golden State, Fisher wrote on June 21st. Kuminga played in 47 games this season. He averaged 15.3 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 2.2 assists on 45.4% shooting from the field and 30.5% from deep. Miami could trade for Kuminga. Hoopshype's Michael Scotto reported on June 16 that the Heat could acquire Kuminga via sign-and-trade as their backup option. The Chicago Bulls and Miami Heat are two teams to monitor as potential sign-and-trade candidates for Kuminga, league sources told Hoopshype. With that in mind, the Warriors have also not ruled out the possibility of retaining Kuminga, sources said, Scotto wrote. Kuminga has rarely been given the opportunity to develop his talent on an NBA court. He's consistently being thrown into the rotation and then yanked back out. Kerr has struggled to find a role for the explosive forward. Moving to the Bulls or Heat could be a good move for Kuminga. Both teams would immediately insert him into their starting lineups. Furthermore, they would feature him on offense and demand he use his athleticism and length to play lockdown defense. Kuminga would be challenged to improve, which is exactly what he needs. However, as things currently stand, Kuminga is heading for a new contract with the Warriors. What happens after is anybody's guess. The Golden State Warriors hit the right trade at the deadline with a Jimmy Butler deal that elevated them from a fringe play-in team to probably a Stephen Curry injury away from reaching the Western Conference Finals. But before they made the Butler trade, a desperate Warriors team poked around several players. Their failed Kevin Durant reunion pursuit was well documented. But there is one surprising name that recently came up which the Warriors had an interest in: Utah Jazz's high-flying forward John Collins. According to Andy Larson of the Salt Lake Tribune, the Warriors were interested in Collins at the trade deadline before they got Butler. The 6'9" Collins could have been Draymond Green's frontcourt partner had they acquired him. He is an athletic big man who puts pressure on the rim and can knock down the three-point shot if needed. John Collins as small ball center? This past season, Collins shot 62.8% near the basket, above the 59.7% league average. Collins, the 19th pick in the 2017 NBA draft, played only 40 games for the Jazz this past season. He averaged 19.0 points, 8.2 rebounds, 2.0 assists, and 1 steal and block each. He also shot 39.9% from the three-point line, which could have made him attractive to the Warriors even more as one of their trade deadline targets. However, Larson said that ship has already sailed. "I think contract-wise, that doesn't work anymore," Larson explained on the Locked On Jazz on June 18th. He had a productive enough season last year that there should be interest in the league somewhere for him. I don't expect the Jazz to get value back necessarily in those deals, though. Collins has a $26.6 million player option for next season. He has to opt in so the Jazz can trade him and get something in return. With only the Brooklyn Nets having large spending power in free agency, Collins might be forced to opt in. The Warriors are looking to add a center to ease the burden on Green, who played at the 5, which was less than ideal for the 35-year-old grizzled veteran. Will the Warriors revisit that Collins interest and make him their small ball center if the price to get him is low as what Larson predicts? Jonathan Kuminga is Warriors' biggest trade chip. The Warriors' offseason starts with Jonathan Kuminga's restricted free agency. What they do with him will dictate how their offseason go. According to Hoopshype's Michael Scotto, Kuminga is looking for an expanded and consistent role moving forward. But Warriors coach Steve Kerr has already made it clear that isn't happening. "I've been asked to win," Kerr told the San Francisco Standard's Tim Kawakami on the TK show on Wednesday, May 21st. "And right now, he's not a guy who I can say, I'm going to play 38 minutes with the roster we have, Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond, and put the puzzle together that way and expect to win." So, the most likely scenario is Kuminga will get signed and traded this offseason. To where is the question that will be answered soon. Will they flip him for Collins? The Jazz were interested in Kuminga during the Lauri Markkanen trade talks last offseason. However, the Warriors might find Collins a low return for their former number 7 pick. It's nearly 12 months ago that the Golden State Warriors and Klay Thompson made the decision to part ways, with a franchise legend signing a 3-year, $50 million contract with the Dallas Mavericks. It was a tough period for the Warriors, yet one they actively ensured didn't go to complete waste. Mike Dunleavy Jr. and the front office smartly turned Thompson's departure into a 6-team sign-and trade, acquiring 2 rotation pieces in Buddy Hield and Kyle Anderson on mid-tier contracts. Anderson wasn't overly impactful but was used as key salary in the February trade for Jimmy Butler, while Golden State arguably wouldn't have made the second round of the playoffs without Hield's heroics in the do-or-die Game 7 of the first-round series against the Houston Rockets. Klay Thompson trade provides a blueprint for the Warriors. While they may not hold the same stature as Thompson, veteran duo Kevin Looney and Gary Payton II are also beloved champions who the Warriors will need to make decisions on as free agents this offseason. As limited role players over the past 18 months, Golden State may need to move on from Looney and Payton to upgrade the roster. Perhaps one or both come back on veteran minimum contracts, but the front office needs to be open-minded about what they could do in the coming weeks. If one or both of Looney and Payton were to depart, then the Thompson trade provides the blueprint on how the Warriors can make the most out of it. They won't be making anywhere near the contract the veteran sharpshooter got from the Mavericks last offseason, but they could get more than the minimum elsewhere and therefore open up a sign-and-trade scenario. The limited offensive capabilities of Looney and Payton make them less valuable to a team like the Warriors who need to improve on that end of the floor, but a rival could pursue them if there's a need for more defense. The Los Angeles Lakers, for example, have already been floated as a potential team for Looney with a non-taxpayer mid-level exception. If one of the veteran duo get a $5 to $6 million offer, is there someone from another team that would make sense for Golden State? This is where canvassing the league will be incredibly important in trying to fill out the final spots on the roster. Alternatively, the Warriors could re-sign Looney and or Payton to inflated contracts in order to trade them once eligible. It's what is now being known as a human trade exception, though its influence is perhaps overrated after the Philadelphia 76ers experiment with KJ Martin. Whether it's in the next month or further down the track, will Dunleavy and the front office be able to spin the heartbreak of losing another beloved championship veteran, or two, into a different rotation player? The Thompson situation suggests there's enough creativity where that could be possible.